Welcome to A Practical Approach to Proofreading. This is a screencast to help you through the process. Think about the essays you've written in the past. What are the most common mistakes you make in your writing? Make a bullet point list. Before we look at proofreading, let's spot the problem. Coffee shop, burger at its best. Where do you think the problem is? The answer should read as its without the apostrophe. The apostrophe used in this example represents a contraction, i.e. it's saying burger at it is best. However, its is being used to show possession, therefore an apostrophe is unnecessary. What's the problem with this sign? HGVs, no left turn ahead. It should read as HGVs without the apostrophe. An apostrophe has been used to represent the plural. The correct form would be without any punctuation mark. Can you spot the problem here? What's in store? It should read as what's with an apostrophe, not a comma. The learning outcomes for this session is to understand what proofreading is and its purpose, to identify common errors made, and to develop simple strategies to help check the quality of your work. What is proofreading? Put simply, proofreading is a process of scrutinizing a written document to check for grammatical, punctuation, spelling, and vocabulary errors. Why proofread? Proofreading allows you to quality control your work. It ensures accuracy in your work. It ensures clarity of expression in your writing. And it makes your work easier to read. Proofreading should be done by the person who is writing the work. Let's look at 10 common mistakes people make. No thesis. A thesis is a central argument you put forward in the essay. It's important to let the reader know from the beginning what your thesis is, so be explicit in your introduction and alert the reader to your thesis. No conclusion. Always sum up the points you make. No evidence. Any point you make must always have a link to the theory. This is the evidence which supports your line of argument. Commas are used to separate two clauses in a sentence. Generally, if you have more than one comma in a sentence, the sentence may be too long. This can blur the clarity of expression needed, so try to keep to one comma per sentence. Plagiarism. Ensure you have referenced other people's work with both in-text citation and Harvard references at the end of the essay. For more information on citations, watch the screencast on paraphrasing. Repetition. To avoid repetition, make sure you only deal with one point per paragraph. Lack of structure. Ensure you map out a clear narrative in your essay. All written work will have a beginning, middle, and end. Have a clear plan of points to be discussed in the middle section. Think about how your points build up to tell a complex story and convey a layered understanding. Sometimes points can be made chronologically, but a more effective route would be to take a thematic approach. Lack of transitional phrases. Use signposting to signal the reader when you introduce new points. Punctuation problems. Brush up on your knowledge of punctuation. There are a number of online tools that will help you to do this. Spelling errors and typos. We're going to be talking more about this later on in the screencast. This section is about strategies and in particular allocating time. Give yourself time between writing and proofreading. So generally, plan for the reading, plan for the note-taking, plan for writing up, and plan for proofreading. Give yourself at least 2 weeks to proofread and edit. This gives you time to really understand what you've written and to make sure that it makes sense and that you actually fulfill the assignment criteria. And finally, read your work out loud. This helps you to assess whether your writing makes sense, as well as helping you to spot errors. When you spend a lot of time writing, it's very hard to see any errors in your work. It becomes a very personal endeavor. So you need some time to spend away from the work before you revisit it. Another way is to print a hard copy to review. Sometimes it's easier to spot the errors on a printed version rather than looking at your computer screen. As we mentioned in the previous slide, you can read your work out aloud. And finally, you can read your work backwards. This will slow you down when it comes to reading, and it will make you look at your work from a fresh perspective. Be methodical when you are proofreading your work. For example, if we look at sentence structure, does a sentence make sense? Does a sentence convey what you want it to convey? And use a grammar checker on your Word document. That's a blue wavy line that will actually indicate that there is something not right with the way you've formulated your sentences. Here's an example. Another area to look at is word choice. Try to avoid using the same word more than once in a sentence. Check for synonyms of alternative words that have the same meaning. You can do this quite easily on your Word document, which allows you to check for synonyms and gives you a thesaurus. So it's easy to expand your vocabulary. Spelling errors can very easily occur when you are writing. Use a spell checker on your Word document to identify any typos. This is the red wavy line that you see going throughout your piece of work. Here's an example. Use a dictionary. Be aware that some words sound the same but are spelt differently and have different meanings. The spell checker on your computer will not flag this up, so the responsibility is on you to know the differences. Effective proofreading includes allocating time to go over your work, being methodical in identifying errors, using available technologies embedded within Word documents to help you edit your work, and checking that your written piece meets the assignment brief. Remember, you are responsible for proofreading your own work.